So I recently finished Khemia, Alchemist of Al-Revis, and this was a great JRPG. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. I think a lot of people might have missed out on it because, you know, it was released in 2008 on the PlayStation 2. You know, by that time a lot of people had already moved to like Wii, 360, PS3, which is a shame because this is one of the best RPGs on the PS2 in my opinion. It starts off, you're the main character. His name is Al-Revis, and you go to this alchemy academy called Al-Revis, and that's pretty much the gist of the story for a long time. It's not until like really late in the game that there really is any kind of semblance of a story. There's I think it's like chapter 8 or 9 when the story really starts kicking in. And it's actually pretty decent. It just takes a long time to, for it to show up. And there are 12 chapters in the game. Now, a lot of people might be put off by the fact that there's, you know, little to no story at the beginning. But the other aspects of the game really make up for it. The one thing is the combat is excellent in this game. And it borrows from Final Fantasy X with some things. For starters, you know, it's your turn-based system, and your character's turns are represented by little cards at the top of the screen, similar to Final Fantasy X. In addition to that, you can swap out your support characters. You have your 3 frontline characters and then 3 support characters. And you'll see your support characters' icons at the top right of the screen. Got my directions messed up there. But you'll see their icons at the top of the screen, and then you can, when it's your turn, you can swap them out. You also have the option of swapping them out when you attack. You'll see the X button flash on the screen for a little bit, and you know, so you attack, and then your support character attacks, and then if you hit the X button again at the right moment, and your support character's icon is on the left, you can swap in that character. And you know, you might be thinking, well, can't you just keep continuing to, you know, swap in characters and just have like an endless combo? No, because they did limit it. You can have, whenever you swap a character out, there's a wait time for them to be summoned into battle again. So I'm not sure the exact number of turns or, you know, cards I have to go through, but you know, you'll see their card will be grayed out, and then it'll gradually refill over time. Another thing is that Vayne is the final character. If you have 4 characters attack consecutively, and Vayne is the last character, they'll unleash an ultimate attack which will do huge damage to the enemies. And there's one other time when you can swap in characters, and that's when you're on the defensive. Right before the enemy attacks your party, you'll see a little exclamation point over that party member's head, and then you can swap in one of your support characters, which is very useful, you know, if your character is like low on hit points, or you know, if you just want to take advantage of some of the after effects of swapping in characters. Because if you swap in a character, you know, on a defensive turn, what happens is they have these support abilities. Like for instance, Jess will actually do a free heal all spell on your party, which is great. If you swap in Muppy, he'll actually act as a shield for your entire frontline party. And you know, other characters have other defensive maneuvers, which is great. And you know, so like with the battle system, you know, it's turn-based, but you always have to kind of be paying attention, and you always have to, you know, use the shoulder buttons to get your characters in the right spot in the support icons on the top. So, you know, you really can't like fall asleep playing the battle system. You have to really pay attention. Another thing at the bottom is they have this burst gauge, and when you fill that up, you do additional damage to the enemy, and a second gauge appears, which is the finishing burst gauge. And when you enter into burst mode, you'll see a thing on the screen, like a conditional, say like attack consecutively, or you know, cast fire or whatever. And when you do that, you fill up this finishing burst gauge, and after you have that filled up, you can use a character's finishing burst, which does massive damage to the enemy again. Excuse me for a minute. So, you know, all in all, great battle system. And of course you have like magic and, you know, status attacks, and you also have like time card attacks, which is your character will, you know, do the attack, but then it'll also cast like, it'll have 3 cards go up into the turn window, and then, you know, so you'll get like 3 extra attacks. And, you know, they'll be after so many turns or whatever. So that's pretty cool. Another way they borrowed from Final Fantasy X is they have their own kind of version of the sphere grid. Just like Final Fantasy X, you don't gain experience, you gain points. In this case, it's alchemy points. And those can be assigned to the Grow Book. It functions a little bit differently, however, because you know, in Final Fantasy X, all you had to do was, you know, earn points and then, you know, unlock the ability on the sphere grid. Well, in this one, you actually have to synthesize items first for the items to be highlighted in that particular character's Grow Book, and then you can, you know, use the alchemy points to, you know, unlock the abilities. Sometimes you'll gain extra attacks, you'll gain, you know, new spells, new combat abilities, your hit points will go up, you know, whatever. So that's very cool, and I felt they did a really good job of balancing out the difficulty. Like, as long as you keep up with your character's Grow Books, you're gonna have like a decent challenge. You know, it's not gonna be frustrating, it's not gonna be super easy. It's pretty much at the right level throughout the whole game, and I really enjoyed that quite a bit. And, you know, there are secret items you can synthesize which will give you, you know, extra hit points or whatever, make the game a lot easier. I didn't find all of those, but, you know, without those, I'd still, you know, I felt the challenge was really good. Now the graphics in the game, you know, the graphics, like the character art looks great, and I love the 2D sprites that they used, but the backgrounds are just kind of meh. You know, it is a lower budget title, so, you know, what can you do? It doesn't bother me much, but, you know, some people might be turned off by that. The game does have an excellent soundtrack. I'm not sure who composed it, but, you know, a lot of the music was really good in this, and there is actually a music player that you can unlock in the game to listen to the music. Now, if you haven't guessed by the title, Alchemist of Al-Revis, you will be using alchemy in this game to, you know, synthesize items and equipment. So, if you're not into that, you may not like this game, because it is a major, major factor in how this game plays and, you know, how you level up, you know. Personally, I enjoyed it, like the alchemy pot in Dragon Quest VIII. I enjoyed the hell out of that, and I really enjoyed it in this game too. There is a lot of flexibility with the item crafting. You know, you can have your characters aid you. There's different effects based on what ether level you get your items at, and, you know, when synthesizing equipment, there is a lot of you know, extra abilities that you can add. Like you can add, you know, spells, like attack spells or healing spells. So, yeah, it was really, really great alchemy system. I enjoyed it. I put a lot of hours into making items and stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's one of the better games, the better JRPGs on PS2. It's not sure how much it costs nowadays, but I got mine fairly cheap. Yeah, and it's a game that a lot of people might have passed up because they had moved on to 7th generation games. So, yeah, I would say definitely check it out if you find it, you know, pick it up. Again, if you don't like alchemy, you may not dig this game. But, yeah, if you don't mind alchemy and stuff, it's a great game. Great turn-based combat. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.